So I'm back on the Campaign Lake. I haven't been here, well, for a week, couple of weeks. I did that night where the fish were much further out than where I could get. So I've turned up here about 6, had a good drive round, a good walk round, and you know, I had a kind of an idea where the fish were going to be, and there's about 6 or 7 swims that will produce bites on there. And I mean, well, I have had fish out of this swim before, but this particular one, it wasn't my favourite, and I'm hemmed in by either side, so I've got the furthest I can go out without somebody crossing me is 15 wraps, which is pretty poor for like a 25 acre to 30 acre lake, really, to be fair. But whatever, this is what happens when you fish the busy lake. So anyway, I've spent quite a few hours. I fished this lake swim before, so I know a good spot. I'm fishing just in front of this nice little harder bar, little bit of a gravel bar out there, just as it crosses over to silt. I put out 10 spoms of this stuff. I'll talk more this goodness. I'll talk more about that later. I'll show you how I prepared that. So what I did is I found the spot, put the bait out there. You know, still with the marker float out there. I got both rods on it, and my rods are fished. I'll literally probably say less than half a rod length apart. 2 of them, real tight. Both fished with small snowmen, miniature snowmen, nutcracker. 1 pink, 1 white. Like I say, and they're all. That's those 2 there. So that's that. So it's I'm real close to my rods here in the brolly. So then what I've done is I've set up the brolly and the rest of it. And I've found, I was milling around, I wasn't quite sure, I didn't want to put all the rods there because it is quite a tight spot, and to be fair, the guy to my left of me is fishing less than a rod length away from my spot, really. Maybe a rod length, it's rubbish really, but we'll see. Might be a move on the card if it's available. So what I've done is I've got this really nice margin to my left. I've had catfish from it before, but nothing. I've had no, actually no, Toby might have had one of his carp out of here actually. So what I've done is I've had a good lead around. I found a really solid spot, gravel, just like what I've pinned up on, really. So I'm going to whack a solid bag out there on it. So what I did is I've tied a loop in your 15-pound subline, and I've just looped on your lead and had a good lead around, found it, and then I'm going to loop it on and get it out there basically. And hopefully, you know, I mean, this one is, you never know, but I mean, I've got to admit, I'm just happy to be out here. I'm not feeling it at all. I'm too hemmed in, but we shall see. I'm fishing as good as I possibly can, as accurate as I can. The hooks are sharp, the rigs are perfect. There's your solid bag. I've got a little white nutcracker pop up in there, little 12 miller. So what I'll do now is I'll loop this on. Really cool idea, this looping. I've seen a few lads doing it years ago on linear. Proper handy it is. I was just never that confident of doing it because of I just felt like a knot would be a weak point, but you know, figure of 8 loop knot on it does the trick. It's already been eventful. I've slid in the lake, got my trousers and my first top completely wet, sliced up my hand. It's a bit of a beauty really, it's stinging like mad. So yeah, I've had a right old moment already. It's like loop to loop, and there she is, and I'll put it out on this margin and you'll see. And like I say, I'm not that confident, but I've got 2 nights. A move could be on the cards. We'll see. I'll try my best. Good morning, welcome back. So not really a lot to report on the first night's action. Had a little catfish at about 2 o'clock this morning. Went to sleep at about 1 o'clock. I was watching the water through the dark, trying to see signs. I only saw one fish splash. It was a cat tail, right over my middle rod, but nothing obviously went off. I'm quite glad really, because one catfish is enough for me. It was only about £4, not even worth videoing. I just can't stand them. So I sort of got up. I've been waiting. It's now, what's the time now? It is 8:54. Yeah. So I mean, like I say, I'm the geezer to my left. He's 2 swims away, but he's about half a rod length off my marker, which is only 14 wraps out in front, and that's all I've got. So I'm very hemmed in here. I wasn't feeling confident. He was putting out loads of bait, so I was just fishing off his bait really. I put 10 spoms tight. I managed to get my 2 rods pretty tight. So I sort of got up. I've been watching. The guy to the right of me is leaving. So I'm going to jump in there. It's my favourite swim on the lake actually. So, and he's been in there since Monday and only had 1 cat. So he's been there for 5 days. So we'll see what happens. I haven't seen anything show, but I'm much more confident now. I've got my own water. I know the swim. I know if the fish do start to feed on, they do turn up. I know how to catch them and where to catch them from. So that's kind of positive. So I'm pretty happy about that. I just wish I could get sort of, could I do a couple more days really. I've only got tonight, and then till about 11 tomorrow, so we will see. Had the cat on the left, down in the margin, that margin spot that you see me put out the solid bag on, one little nutcracker pop up. Just got all the bits packed and ready to move. Just need to bring the bed chair in and bit in the bait. We can get it going. Well, here we are in the new swim. It's been in here for a couple of hours. Not cast out yet. I was just sort of watching and marking around. I fished this swim before. I've had quite a few fish out of this one, including a nice 32-pound common. So yeah, it's looking good. Well, it's not looking good really. Nothing's been out. Geezer was in here for 4 or 5 days and had nothing but a cat, but you can't really go on that. It's, I haven't really got nothing else. Every other swim really is taken. The guy to my right is leaving as well. My mate, young Harry, he had a 34 mirror and I think a 20 common from the caravan swim. But that was on Wednesday, so he said nothing has come out since Wednesday, so we're now Saturday, so it's been dead really. It's been quite tough fishing. So yeah, let's so like I said, I'll show you all the spots and that, and what I'm going to do is pretty much the same as what I did yesterday, just on a different spot. This time 18, just over 18, it's like 18 and a half wraps. So I'll get it out there. I've got the spot, I know the spot from my little book. I've got my little book with all my little notes in. So this is the steps we call it. So I've had fish off of here 19, 20, 18 wraps, so I'm going to go a little bit closer because there is a guy who's fishing again across more to the left, cutting it any more 20 wraps, and we'll be fishing very close to each other. I'm not all about that. I mean, it's a bit annoying really, but that's just the way it goes when you fish these busy club waters. And let's get the rods clipped up and get some bait out there and get ready for the afternoon. It's 11:30 already. I want to have the rods in sort of by 1, 2, so I better get cracking. I've made some rigs up and I'll show you all that in a bit. So I'm going to talk about the main sort of items and ingredients that you need to make the mix. So starting off with the particle mix itself. So this is about a 60% hemp to 40%. This is like a pigeon conditioner. This one's called the Super Breeder. It's got lots of, it's got all sorts of bits in there. It's got black maize, big bit maize, tares, maple peas, the lot. It's quite a nice chunky mix. And then obviously you've got your hemp seed. Going on to, so the first ingredient here, this is sea salt. This needs no introduction. Everyone chucks it in there, but I've been doing it for years. During sort of winter and spring, particularly the spring, I put a lot of salt in the mix. The fish are really hunting for it. They really need the mineral for them. It's really good for them. So I chuck loads of it in the spring. Not so much. I do put salt season most of the bait, but not so much this time of year. So we're getting into June now. So ease off it too much, but it still goes in there. Now, lots of this stuff. This is sweet chili sauce. So most of us have it in, in our food, dipping bits and bobs in it. But yeah, it's quite a sweet one, very sugary. And then this is curry powder. I've used the extra hot one, but I found the medium to be quite a nice blend. It's still very hot in the amount that we're going to use, much more than you would use for your curry. Just your scoop. Got your pot here. This is one, I picked this one up from a charity shop, a couple of quid. It's got a lid as well, so it's nothing major, but it does the job. I've got a bigger one here as well, which I've been using for a couple of years. It was my granddad's. He used to make flapjack mixes in it and sell them and stuff. So yeah, it's a bit of heritage there for the pot. But so this is the one we're going to be using. So the rule of thumb is, let's have a look. So for every a scoop of this, so 1 scoop of that mix is 2 scoops of water. So say we're gonna, that will probably do me for that. Because it does swell up, that'll probably do me just for the one night. Don't want to overkill it. Put a little bit more in there. So that will need sort of 4.5 things of water. So we'll get that done now. So just got the last one in there. That's like 4.5 in there. And give it a good old mix. See, there's always a little bit of this hemp stuff that sort of floats up. So we give that. So this is the part where we get in the goodness. Starting with the salt. It might seem quite a bit, but compared to what I normally use, that isn't actually that much. Give that a mix. Season that up. I like to put the salt in at this time. Just so it really gets to soak into the mix. I also put a little bit off 10 minutes before I turn off the cooking. Then your curry powder. Fish love spicy curry stuff. Curry is a flavour that used to be used all the time. It just never seems to be. I suppose you've got new baits using it, but and I put about just under half a pot in. Really spice it up. No, that'll do it. It also tends to give it this lovely sort of orangey colour when it cooks as well. Oh, you can smell that now. Also mask the smell a little bit for your housemates or your missus or whoever that don't like the smell of the hemp cooking. I personally love the smell of hemp cooking, but a lot of people don't like it. Now I've been doing this mix for years. So I've got another one with like maple and sugar that I use often, but this one is often the one I've kept secret, but it's out there now. And what I actually do is I'll add half of that later. So for this. Now we'll let that soak. I can just put the lid on, and then we'll let that soak for 24 hours. Sometimes I'll soak it for even longer, but it has to be at least 24 hours for best results. And we'll get back to you, and I'll show you how it's cooking and how long I cook it for, and we'll get back to you. Right, so it was been soaking for 24 hours, and now it's been on boil, and I've just put it to the boil. It's been boiling now for about half an hour, and you can see. Let's have a look. What you're looking for, if you can see on there, is some of them are starting to open already. Don't want to steam up the lens too much, but yeah. So it'll probably need I always do about an hour. And you see the curry smell. So another half an hour. Now this is when I add all of this. And because of its sugariness, it thickens up all that water and turns it almost into like a syrup. And the fish just go mad for it. Little edge that I like. Oh, this is sweet chilli that you get from Lidl, like pound. So I don't know, I use about nearly a whole pot of time, but it's worth it just for that extra. Give it a good stir. Right, the lid back on, and carry on boiling for another half hour. So I had to carry on cooking the particle mix for about another half an hour till all the hemp is pretty much split, and all of the particles are really soft. And then I added, there we go, some 40ml nutcracker and some spicy red fish. And that's the thing. I had to get out of the house, so I had to quickly rush and finish it off. Yeah. Right, so I've got these little bags here. Tiny little bags, just crushed nut cracker and a bit of halibut pellet. All I'm doing is nutcracker, just one, just crushed like that. Tiny bit of pellet. And there we go. Right, so to talk to you about the rig that I'm putting out there on my baited area. Rig you would have seen me use before. It's the fluorocarbon D rig. Again, this was the size 4 R curve BMG. Hook bait there is a little mini nutcracker snowman, nutcracker bottom, nutcracker pink top, bit of putty, anti-tangle sleeve, and then I just put one of these on. Get it out there. And the other one is the same, but just with your white kicker instead. White topper, rather. Let's get them out there. It's on my right hand rod. That's what's going out. It's a little like KD starter. It's like 2.5 inch rig, size 4 BMG R curve, a couple of grains of corn, sort of fish KD style, and I'm fishing it on a like a drop off inline, and it just, this bit here, if this was a fish, just pops out and boom, she's gone. That easy. That makes it super safe, because this one's going to be fishing up to nearer towards the spit, so a bit of snags there. So I thought, and along with my halibut pellet, I'll get that done now. You would have seen me tie these many a time. What I like to do first is get the hook and hook bait in place, feed it down to the bottom, and I'll pierce it through. Making sure to pat down as much as possible. Ooh. I don't want too many. One, two, three, four. Cool. So about weird camera angles, but you see the hook bait there sitting all nice, and your hook there, all proud. So what I do then is I just lick and stick the corners. Trim off the excess. You can knock someone out with she. And there we go. Cool, I've got me dinner. Satay chicken and chicken chow mein. First time I've ever had Chinese whilst I'm fishing. I've had Indian lots of times, but first time Chinese, first thing for fucking swans. Fag off. Good morning and welcome back to Big Girl Hunters. Sadly, it's last morning I've got my double nighter. Now 6:26. I've been awake since about 3 o'clock in the morning watching the UFC. For the guys that know me personally know how much I love my second sort of sport passion really I'm obviously no way near to the level of fishing is mixed martial arts. It's something I used to get involved in myself. That's what did my knee in. But it was a middleweight world champion title fight tonight, Michael Bisping. He won about half an hour ago. Put 20 quid in him, 160 quid as well. But yeah, so he was the reason what got me into the UFC, watching it, and got me into doing MMA and kickboxing and the rest of it. So to see him now be the champion, first English, I know we've got McGregor, the Irish, but for the featherweight, or the lightweight, or whatever it is he is. But yeah, now we've got our first English mixed martial arts UFC world champion, so that's amazing. So I'm buzzing about that, but unfortunately I haven't caught anything. Still, I'm going to leave it about 11. Still a couple of hours, because I've moved twice. I've done everything I possibly can. I've fished accurate. I've used sharp hooks, made sure I found the right spots in the right swim. It's just, I've got a feeling they're going to be spawning soon. I've seen loads of them all morning right at the back of the rope, crashing out, splashing, doing weird jumps. No one else has caught anything. The lakes, like since I've been here, one cat, big cat, one of the 50s, come out. Apart from that, no carp has been out since Wednesday. So it's not just me. Bit gutting, really. Really wanted to see if I could just nick one bite for you. Disappointed in myself, but that's carp fishing, I'm afraid. So there's still a bit of time, but we'll see. I hope you guys have got something out of this one. And like I say, if you've got any questions, then add me up. Drop a comment on YouTube or the Facebook or whatever, and just let me know, and we'll get it done. Right, see you back soon. Tight lines.